once again for joining us for the Climate Action Spotlight Youth Power in Motion Regional Dialogue on Youth Empowerment in Climate Action. We now head to our 4 sessions focusing on scaling youth-led climate action in Asia Pacific, and we will be hearing from youth working to tackle the climate crisis in different ways. So as Sadia has already introduced herself, the first session will be led by Ms. Sadia Roti, Board Director, Eco Network Global and YOUNGO Fellow, also demonstrating the power of young people taking charge. And of course, Mr. Van Tuan Nguyen, Deputy Head of Technical Department, YNET Vietnam, to share their work leading youth-led organizations, respectively in Bangladesh and in Vietnam. So back over to you, Sadia, and thank you so much for starting us off.
Thank you so much. So as I introduced myself already, so I'd like to pass the microphone to Tuan to introduce himself.
Thank you, Sadia. Hi, everyone. I'm Tuan from Vietnam, and I'm currently the program coordinator of Youth Climate Action Network, YNET Vietnam. About our organization, YNET is a network of nearly 30 youth organizations nationwide operating in the field of environmental and climate change. So shall we begin to share about our motivation to start working on climate advocacy in our respective regions? I think I'll go first. About my journey into climate advocacy began from observing the tangible impact of climate change in Vietnam. Seeing the gaps in the youth movement, a lot of people are working for community projects, but people rarely to talk and work with each other. Also, young people don't know how and never talk with other stakeholders, especially the policymakers. So we want to create a space where young people can come together for collaboration and a platform for the youth to start talking with the policymakers and other stakeholders about climate policy and youth contribution on it. So what about you, Sadia?
So I was motivated to work on climate change 6 years ago, and the reason is almost similar to you. So basically, I went on a study tour from my university. The study tour was in a coastal village of Bangladesh. It's called Banishanta. So basically, our teachers told us to survey on the local people and the area that to know how climate change affects that area. So after interacting with the local people, I got to know how climate change affects their livelihoods, food production. Even one of the farmers shared his story that he used to be a farmer, but because of climate change and because their land has been salined already, so they cannot produce any food. So hearing their story, I think these stories touched me so much that I decided on that day that I would work on climate change.
Yeah,
So,
in Vietnam.
Yeah, that's my story.
I think in Vietnam, people from coastal areas such as the Mekong region are also strongly affected by climate change. So talking about the digital technologies, as we all see the rapid development of it, and it brings advantages to many fields, climate action is not an exception. So how have you utilized the digital technologies to amplify the climate awareness, and what impact has this had on your campaign?
So basically, yes, I really think that the digital technologies has helped us to amplify climate awareness, to amplify our voice. And I already say that Eco Network Global has already spreaded to 25 countries, and it has only been possible because of digital technology. And the platforms have made it easier to communicate, to mobilize the young people. And in 2019, we organized the first ever virtual World Climate Summit. So it has only been possible because of digital technologies, right? And we also organized various social campaign projects like Clean Air Action Week, then Project Renew Energy, Project Green Commute from our organization, which really have helped to amplify the climate awareness. So yeah, these kind of digital technologies has helped us to spread our voice and to find like-minded youth and like-minded climate activists and mobilizing them and help us to take climate action. So would you like to share yours?
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Why Vietnam we utilize the digital technologies extensively. In my experience, many social projects and organizations focus on a specific area, like a school, a city, or a province. YOUNG Vietnam has leveraged the digital platforms to connect and work remotely with all members of our network in several areas. In the chance to participate in such climate projects can work effectively with us. Digital technology not only help us to solve the problem of traditional barriers to youth activities, which is lack of budget and physical office, but also increase the inclusivity. Moreover, we also apply it to our projects to reach the beneficiaries anywhere and anytime. We apply the technology tools to our training and events such as Mural and Kahoot. I guess everyone here know about it. We use it to create a more I think Sadia is
Okay, so it's it's very amazing to hear from you that how these digital technologies have amplified
Are you back,
climate awareness not only
Sadia?
in just one part of the world. Yes, I can hear you.
Are you
Okay,
back,
so
Sadia?
yes, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Sadia.
Okay, so as I was saying that thank you very much, Tuan, for sharing that how the digital technologies have amplified climate awareness not only just in our country but also in your country and all other parts of the world. So can you just please share that some of your key projects and impact data that illustrates the changes your organization has achieved?
So I think, Sadia, while Tuan is experiencing some technical issues, I might just skip over to the next question and I can jump in and perhaps ask you the question, which is that do you have any moving stories of individuals or communities that have been directly impacted by your work? So over to you, Sadia.
Yes, actually, like last year, I was the judge of a competition organized by University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh. So that time, like during one of the segments, so one of the girl was presenting her poster presentation. So that time she was sharing that she was motivated from our work to like work on climate change and environmental issues. So these stories has really moved me, that someone is motivated from our work. And also, like few years back, we conducted a project at a slum. So basically we provided some wash education, that how to wash hands and how to manage the waste in that slum. So when we visited back after a few months, we saw that the slum was clean, and the people are trying to make the slum clean, and trying to adapt with the waste management. So I think these two are the examples of like story that really moved me, and that is the example of the direct work of direct impact of my organization.
Great. Thank you so much, Sadia. I think, Tuan, are you back with us now?
Yeah, sorry for the
No.
technical problem.
That's all good. So maybe I can just repeat the question Sadia shared with you, and then you can pass it back over to her after your response. But the question she asked to you was, can you describe one of your key projects and share any significant impact data that illustrates the change that your organization has achieved?
Thank you. About our projects, I want to share with you about one of our key projects, which is the Conference of Youth. Through this platform, we bring young voices directly to the climate policy discussions. So why did we come up with this project? As you can see, there are several conferences being held by big organizations in Vietnam discussing about the climate policy. And when youth participate in this event, they tend to just listen and observe, because the content was designed for their member and the expert with many technical terms that are unfamiliar to young people. So this gap means that young people have less chance to actively engage in the climate policy. So YNET want to bring a platform, an environment that lead by the youth, centralized on youth, where they can feel confident to learn and discuss about the policy with peer and stakeholders. So our ELCOI has changed the narrative and the perspective of other stakeholders about climate actions. So last year, we engaged over 100 youth. Those insights were later integrated into the global discussion at the UN Climate Change Conference at COP28. Also, in terms of the collaboration, ELCOI 2023 has engaged more than 20 youth organizations and partners to collaborate and work with other stakeholders. It's connected multiple groups of youth with diverse perspective and expertise to co-create the Vietnam Youth Statement and contribute to the climate policy. And I also would like to hear from your project, Sadia.
Thank you. Two of the key projects of Eco Network Global is Climate School Project and Project Green Bangladesh. So I'd like to talk about Climate School Project, which is international. So from 2018 till now, we have capacitated and provided climate education to more than 15,000 youths worldwide. So, and another project is Project Mission Green Bangladesh, where we want to plant 50,000 plants all over Bangladesh to reduce the impacts of climate change and heat wave. So these are two key projects of our organization. So now I'd like to, ask you about some of the biggest challenges you have encountered while doing your climate action work and how you have addressed them.
Yeah, I guess everyone here, when doing social projects, will face a lot of problems. One of our toughest challenges was navigating funding, initially because of lacking experience in applying for the initiative funds. The sponsor wanted us to focus on social projects that have specific and easier to measure impacts, but climate policy is something related to a long story to see the tangible change. So we failed to secure the fund from the seed funding program. So to overcome this, we diversified our funding strategies by calling for crowdfunding and also actively seeking support from the private sectors like companies and international NGOs. This approach not only broadened our financial base, but also expanded our network and impact. It's been a journey of adaptation and learning. So can you tell us a bit about your challenge that you face in your initiative?
Yes, actually, my challenge is like most of the youth-led organization, which is access to funding. So in the first few years of our activities, we used our own money to do some activities. And after that, from the COVID-19 pandemic, we went online. And like I said earlier, that we organized the first ever virtual World Climate Summit. And after COVID-19 pandemic, we're still trying to do some activities online and in-person events. So for the in-person events, we collaborate with INGOs and NGOs. And besides that, we also apply for grants, which are youth-friendly. So yeah, by applying to the youth-friendly funds, we are addressing the challenges. So now I'd like to ask you that now that you have shared some of your biggest challenges, so I'd like to ask you now that what are the opportunities you see in the climate action landscape that the other youth-led organization can capitalize on?
Yeah, with all our effort and the youth effort, there's a growing acknowledgement of youth influence in climate policy, which is exciting. Technology's advancement also offer new tools for data collection and environmental monitoring, open up fresh avenues for impactful youth engagement, and it's an optimistic time for youth-led action.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, can you share some of your future plans to scale your initiatives, and what exactly support do you need to achieve these goals?
Yeah, looking ahead to LPOI 2024, we aim to localize our national conference to better reach the local communities and gather more diverse input for the Vietnam Youth Statement. Moreover, we plan to expand the reach of Vietnam Youth Statement among young people, not only by presenting it at youth forums, but also by leveraging the technologies to enhance the platform and content. Further ambition, as pioneers, we aim to build such projects as a sample model, and then franchise these models to youth leaders in local settings. This will enable them to foster discussion at the local level and build a movement where young people can discuss about climate policy openly without any fear. Our goal is to make the climate policy as approachable and accessible, just like a waste collection project. It's very easy, right? So what about your plan to scaling your initiative?
So basically, right now we want to prepare our communities better to tackle the climate crisis, and not only to adapt with climate change, but also to make our communities more resilient. And I think to do that, we need to implement effective projects, and we need to access the youth-friendly funds and the technical knowledge to implement the projects.
Thank you. So what advice you want to give to young people who want to start their own climate action projects? I guess that everyone here are curious about it.
Yes, so for the people who want to start their initiative, I'd like to say them that find out an issue, find out the gap that where there has been no work done, and try to find out the solution. And also, if you do not have any access to fund, try crowdfunding, and you can also share your ideas with your friends. So in this way, they might advise you, or they might guide you that how you can implement it. So would you like to share your advice with our audience?
Yeah, that's one advice that I really want to tell with young activists. It's to focus on building a strong network and forming partnerships. Start by connecting with like-minded individuals and organizations that can provide not just financial support, but also the mentorship and resources. A well-connected network can amplify your impact and provide a solid foundation for your projects. It's all about collaboration and collective effort.
That's great. Thank you, Tuan, for sharing your amazing work and amazing stories with us. And thank you so much, everybody. I hope you're motivated by our stories and work. And we believe that you can take the stories back and motivated and can contribute to our society, and also take collective action. So now I'd like to pass the mic back to Shane.
Thank you so much, Sadia and Tuan, for your interactive and meaningful sharing. Up next, we have Miss Pau Pau Amarakul, Adolescent and Youth Participants Coordinator, UNICEF East Asia and Pacific Regional Office, to interview Mr. Leon Pieter Sahotien, member of UNICEF's Regional Young People's Action Team and environmental content creator, to share how he's leveraging digital tools to amplify his climate advocacy. The floor is now yours, Pau Pau.
Thank you so much, Cici. So good afternoon, morning, and evening, participants from wherever you are. I hope that you had a wonderful experience so far on this first day of the YOUNGO Regional Dialogue. So my name is Pau Pau Rabikana Marshakun, and I'm an Adolescents and Youth Participants Coordinator from the UNICEF East Asia and Pacific Regional Office. So let me officially welcome you all to the Scaling Youth-Led Climate Action in Asia Pacific Session 2 on Digital and Climate Action. So after listening to all the high-level work in collaboration with young people to tackle the climate-related issues, it is now time for us to hear from the young people themselves. So today we are joined by a strong and passionate young advocate for climate action, Leon Pieter Sahotien, member of UNICEF Regional Young People's Action Team and environmental content creator from Indonesia. So, hi Leon, are you having your camera turned on right now? Let us see if Leon is in the house. Hello, Leon. Let's wait a couple more minutes, as there might be some technical issues as we see in the virtual events.
No worries, Baba. So while we maybe wait for Leon with the tech issues, maybe I can just ask you a little bit more about what UNICEF East Asian Pacific Regional Office are doing in the space around kind of digital tools to amplifying climate advocacy, and what projects you're currently working on to support young people in the region.
All right, thank you so much, Sissy. So on the youth-led climate actions, actually, we have Tiziana earlier on has talked about the climate advocacy work already. So right now, we are actually working on the Young People's Action Team as Leon is part of, he's one of the member from the 46 members across the regions, actually. And we have more than 10 of them actually working on the space of the climate actions work. So they are actually, for example, in Malaysia, we have have a little UNICEF young people that are the advisory board that has been working on the work. So I think Leon is actually up right now. So this is just like some example of the work that we have been doing as part of the Young People's Action Team. So Leon is part of that, and I would be glad if he could able to speak more on the thing that he's been doing, especially on the digital space.
Thanks so much, Bao Bao. Maybe I'll pass it over to Leon. Can you hear us, Leon?
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late. Thank you so much.
Hey, it's okay, no worries at
Okay,
all.
thank you so much, Ms. Babao.
So let me ask you the questions and recap of what we have talked about. So maybe could you please introduce yourself a little and share with us how you started your journey as a climate advocate utilizing the digital space?
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Papao and everybody here. And let me introduce myself again. Okay, my name is Leon Piro Sertian. People usually call me Leon. And also I'm from Indonesia, specifically the province of Maluku. Currently, I'm pursuing my education as a student majoring in marine science at the Diponegoro University, Central Java. Uh, and then Yeah, and also I am content creator and the member of the UNICEF Asia and Pacific Young People Action Team, as also known as a YPAD. In Indonesia we say that WP80, but yeah, in Asia we say YPAD. Within the YPAD team, I actively voice the climate issues through the climate change, because it is my advocate before. And then yeah, I created videos that I upload to social media, particularly on personal Instagram. I'm sorry, it's really.
I believe that it might be a bit loud as Leon. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
You
sorry for
you?
that.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, and I created the videos that I upload on social media, particularly on my personal Instagram account at Leon_Saher. Moreover, I'm the founder of the youth movement platform focusing on ocean preservation, namely at Safe Ocean. And then Safe Ocean is like platform, and I make with my friends from the university and my friends from friends from my province Maluku, because when I make this, make this platform, my friends from the university and my friends from Maluku say that it's really good platform, because we see the situation of this planet and this country, Indonesia, have a many problem like climate change and sea levels, and it is a good solution from 100, I think 100 on 1 million solutions to to make our country, our planet to be a good planet. Yeah, and this platform serves as a channel to address various issues concerning the ocean, ranging from waste problems to the impacts of climate change. And then, yeah, the oceans is stressed to really support and awareness among the community, basically the youth, in the maintaining the stability and more. And my journey, and I will next for the next question is my journey as a climate advocate. For my journey as a climate advocate began with my awareness from problem from this planet, also in my country, and in my province Maluku, about the problem of climate change. And for I want myself to contribute about the problem, so I research in Google and everything that I can no, I researched and I know that some organization from my province called Kewang Muda Maluku. Kewang Muda Maluku is like organization in my province to young people who have a strong interest to save the environment in our province. As Kewang Muda Maluku is like a traditional word. Kewang is like a young man or young woman in old in my province who like to save the environment in our province, but this word is now is like gone. And then once some activists from my province called a name Opa Eli or Grandpa Eli, he wants to make this word is or the title is like stand again for young people to know about the word. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Leon. So I think that is a really, really interesting introductions actually on what you're working on, especially on the digital platform and where you begin with all your advocacy on climate, ranging from the local community and into actions into the digital space, which is your personal Instagram account as well as the Save Ocean Instagram account, which you kind of collaborated with your youth group as well as your friends and peers. So on to the next question that I would like to ask you. So from your experience as a young climate content creator, how are digital tools like social media help young advocates in reaching wider audiences? And are there any specific examples that you might have and that you might like to highlight?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Papao. I will answer this question. Yeah, in this era, almost every people around the world use the social media. Asia has the high rate of social media use, reaching 60% of population, showing how medley social media can spread information. So yeah, so bigger so information, many information that we can get from the social media. With such a large number of users, social media has a great potential to convey information about the climate change and the challenge it brings to people. Basically, almost all layers of the society use social media like a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and others. And yeah, I always use this application for watching the funny videos and everything. Therefore, social media can be. Oh, I'm sorry, my camera is.
It's okay. We could still hear you, so you could
Okay,
go
thank
on.
you so much, Ms. Babao. Ooh, what happened? Okay, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, okay, I will answer again. Yes, therefore, social media can be, used share the information about the climate issue with the public so that they can aware and can work together to reduce the climate problem. And then but so not 100% people are aware enough to the climate related issues, not 100%, but I think still many people are still willing to take action to save the climate, want to contribute for the climate. So yeah, social media is alternative for young people to advocate for climate issues because it can reach many people too quickly and efficiently. With the social media, information about the climate issues can easy reach and be shared with the wider audience. So yeah, and this allow young people to raise awareness and mobilize about the positivity action to protecting the environment, preserving the climate, and creating a sustainability of future. And then yeah, for my example, I highlight is my own personal experience. I analyze social media as a platform to voice a climate issues. Um there I'll make the I noticed there's one platform that I make it, and I will make this safe ocean that I make this account to so simply to share the information about the problem that they uh, have to know about for young people because it's urgent to they to know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leon. So I think we have such a really interesting information and insights that like we all have social medias, but how do we leverage the thing that we use in everyday life into something that we could advocate on? So thank you so much. And as you're an experienced digital content creator on climate, what advice or tips can you share to the young people who are looking to leverage digital tools for their own climate advocacy work? Are there any strategies or platforms that you have found particularly effective in engaging the target audiences that you targeted?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Paul. And yeah, I will answer again. My advice is, you can start first. Don't be afraid to use social media to advocate for a climate issue. I know that it can feel intimidating. There's always a worry to people thinking about our content that we make. I think we make, and then in Indonesia we say pansus. Pansus is like people want to show something like don't like don't positive around the people. So also there's might be afraid to the content we can won't be liked to by others, or that our efforts will be appreciated. However, these are natural feelings, all feelings. When I make my platform Safe Oceans, and then I want to make content about the climate issues, I lost I think 100 1,000 not 1,000 one I lost many followers because followers of my friends, because they want not when I say again that not 100% like to contribute about the climate issues. And then yeah, I lost many followers, but I always always make sure say myself that what I make is not only for myself, but but also for everyone, that can bring positivity impact, not only for me but also for everyone, and also for environmental country in our planet. So yeah. And then my tips is, if you want to make a good video, you can use many applications that for this now I will show you 3 applications that I'm always used to make a good video. First is the InShot application, InShot, and then the second is the CapCut, and the last is KineMaster. It is 3 applications I always use to make a good application. And then this application is really not only really good, but it's easy to use and then free to use. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leon. So I think your point is really important in terms of like mental health, as well as we are into social media every day, but how do we manage and balance your mental health into the negative comments, all those kind of stuff that we have, as well as how to positively advocating for the thing that you desired for. So thank you so much. And also on your tips as well, that the application doesn't have to be expensive, but it could be free to use as well.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for your insights. Not only that today that we see the experience of the young person who has been passionate for climate advocacy, but also we learn more about how the digital space that everyone has can also act as an essential tools to leverage the advocacy. So please don't forget to check out Leon's platform as well. So he has, as stated, his own Instagram account as well as Safe Ocean. He is also part of, as I stated, UNICEF Regional Young People's Action Team. So there has been some link shared in the chat as well that you could check out about this. Follow Leon's along with the other 45 young peoples across the East Asia and Pacific and their advocacy journey. So we could also see in the hashtag YPAD for Change as well. So thank you again, everyone. And I'm now transitioning back the floor to Sissy.
Thank you so much, Bao and Leon, for that insightful video. To echo, the important point that Leon shared, all of you can leverage digital tools, especially social media, to reach a wider audience and increase the impact of your climate advocacy. We will now be taking a short 10-minute break, and we will be resuming the session at 2:20 p.m. GMT +7. So see you in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. Let's get back to our session on scaling youth-led climate action in Asia Pacific. Up next, we have Miss Emma Moyes, co-founder of Wrap Up, to share how she is creating high fashion and enabling clean neighborhoods through green entrepreneurship, alongside with my colleague, Mr. Dipesh Podel, Partnerships and Youth Startup Support Coordinator at UNDP Bangkok Regional Hub. The floor is now yours, Dipesh.
Sure. Thank you so much, Cici. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. My name is Dipesh Podel, and I am Partnership and Youth Startup Support Coordinator at UNDP Bangkok Regional Hub. And welcome to our session on green entrepreneurship. From plastic pollution to climate change, our planet faces pressing threats that require bold and innovative solutions. And at the heart of this movement towards sustainability are entrepreneurs, who are not just dreaming of a better world, but are actively creating it. And today we have a privilege of hearing from a visionary entrepreneur who is leading the charge in transforming waste into opportunity. In a world where plastic wrappers often end up as litter, clogging our ocean and landfills, Emma saw an opportunity to turn this problem into a solution. Thus, without further ado, please give a virtual round of applause and join me in welcoming our speaker for today, Ms. Emma Moyes, CEO and co-founder of Wrap Up. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Dipesh. Thank you so much for your introduction. Let me just quickly share my screen.
Sure, Emma.
So that
Please share a bit about yourself and your journey in founding Wrap Up.
what I'm talking about. Let me just, yeah. So I'm the co-founder of Wrap Up. A little about myself first before I get into it. So my name is Emma Moyes. I'm 29 years old. I actually studied physics, math, and computer science from the Netherlands. In the last couple of years, I've been working as an industrial physicist, which is basically a physicist that helps the industry develop new products, helps them solve any scientific problems, physics-related questions that come up in product development. Some of the things that I've done over the last few years is that I have developed an indigenous solution for the national desert locust crisis. We tried to create a more eco-friendly solution for this problem. I also worked on developing DC motors in the electric vehicle space and some systems in precision agriculture. So I come from a very high-tech background, but I'm not just a physicist. I'm also a writer, a science communicator, an environmental activist, a gardener, a composter, a radio presenter, and now I'm an entrepreneur as well. So and today I'm here to talk about green entrepreneurship. So how did I get into the green entrepreneurship space? As you already know, I'm from Pakistan, but I'm specifically from the city of Karachi, which is that red square there, and it's right next to the beach. Unfortunately, we have a very poor waste management infrastructure, and we nearly produce more than 12,000 tons of waste per day. About 40% of it is left on the streets because there's no formal method of picking it up. That is generally burnt or dumped in places like this. And all of this has made Karachi the 5th worst livable city in the world. So since I was an environmental activist, a couple of years ago, my mom and I, we started living a zero waste life, or a low waste life at least. So our household waste of 6 people ends up becoming this small. So my mom and I were just thinking one day that, if we've managed to reduce our waste so significantly because of our low waste practices, imagine what it could do if, we taught the same principles to people who live in vulnerable communities, quote unquote, slums. And that's what we started doing. We went to these schools and we started teaching the kids over there the 5 R's of, waste management. And the response we got just blew our minds. The kids started taking their own plastic, like their own reusable bags, saying no to plastic. They started waste segregation. They started cleaning up their street after school, even though they were made fun of. So it just really blew us away. But interestingly, what happened is that when we started waste segregation, so, when we started getting the kids to separate their waste so we could send it for recycling, we realized that the biggest waste that is being generated is your wrapper waste from chips and biscuit wrappers, like, these and cookie wrappers. And it's nearly 15% of the average Karachi household waste. It's coming from food waste, but there's nothing being done about it, or very little. So before I move on, since we're talking about recycling, could you guys share in the chat how much of plastic waste created is generally recycled? Anyone? 13%, 10%. So obviously it varies from country to country, but this statistic that I have here is that this only 9% of all plastic ever created has been recycled in the whole world. So this includes the EU, it includes all of the nations which are like, oh, we're so big on plastic recycling. So unfortunately, recycling is not a great solution. But that's why we need more people, especially young people, to think of more creative solutions that can help us diminish this problem. So what we started doing is, specifically with wrapper waste, is that we realized that, okay, since it can't be recycled, it's too expensive to recycle it, it's too low value. Maybe if we can't recycle it, maybe we can upcycle it, so create something of a higher value. So we started experimenting with the kids, in their art project, in their art classes. They started making these things, different kinds of bags, and they started making more bags. So this is a bag that they made for the president of their, school foundation, the lady who was a principal. And eventually, we ended up creating some pretty interesting things, and started refining our products. So this clutch bag right here, which is also in my hand right now, is made from 150 to 200 chips and biscuit wrappers, depending on which size material you use. And they're all made from used wrappers. So, our motto is beauty need not be virgin, it can be upcycled. And what's really interesting about this is that as we're going further with our product innovation, our goal is to make high value, aesthetically pleasing luxury products. Because the fashion industry, as it stands, it's responsible for like 10% of humanity's current carbon emissions. It's a really big plastic polluter, nearly the fifth biggest plastic polluter. So we're like, let's try to use sustainable materials in this space. Yeah, so that's our motto. These are some more products that we made. I have them on hand as well. These are the earrings that we made. These are the heart-shaped earrings. These are all made from wrapper waste. This was made with like nacho chips wrappers, the pink one. And yeah, so basically what we ended up doing is that we have a multidisciplinary approach to the problem. We don't just look at it from one business aspect. We also engage community. We also get people to make things themselves for themselves, and we're constantly innovating. And that's because I think that's really necessary in a place like Pakistan, where you're not getting a lot of government support or municipality support, but we can't afford to have people be hopeless. So we're looking at different ways to find a solution to the problem. Yeah, and we really focus on communal action. So there are some interesting stories that I would like to share of the work that we've been doing. As you can spy towards the left side of the screen, there's a bag made with everybody's favorite cookie. And we ended up, this was something we made in our initial prototypes. And we exhibited it at an exhibition and an event. And we had this 10-year-old boy that came to us, and he asked my mom, why are you doing this? And my mom said, we're doing this for you so that you have a better future. And then we found out a few days later, we met his mom, and his mom said that she was really annoyed when she found this pile of cookie wrappers, that he didn't throw in the dustbin. So she scolded him, and he's like, no, Mom, I'm saving these for Auntie, because Auntie is, going to use this because she's doing it for us. So that's why I'm keeping these. Then he went and he taught his younger sister how to, use these, because we need the wrappers to be open in a particular way. We can't use them if they're open badly. So, he taught his sister how to open the packet properly. They didn't have safety scissors, so he went and got safety scissors for her because she was only 6 years old. So it was remarkable that, after just a few minutes of interaction, it had such a big effect on this boy. And after that, on the right, there's a picture of our boy, of one of our artisans named Shukran. he's one of the students who we taught, and he was so determined. Like even when his fingers started hurting, he just refused to give up, and we're telling him, please stop, this is just a fun activity. He's like, no, I need to do this because it's amazing. I'm making these from wrappers. So that's just something very remarkable for me, and especially when I see these kids taking action to clean their own street after school, even though they're made fun of. I think these are our heroes, and that's why I love working with kids. That they just the excitement that they have and the commitment they have to ensure a better future for themselves. I think I really choose to look at the hopeful side of things.
Wow, it's really, really inspiring, Emma. Like, truly, it shows that change can happen in all the level, and alongside youth, it is also important to teach children how to live a sustainable life, and you are championing on this. This is really amazing. But I also wanted to ask you something, that you've been doing all this amazing work in Karachi, but I'm sure there must be some challenges as well, right? So could you also share a bit more on the challenges you are facing right now, your future plans, and what would you think would be better like better support for you?
Thank you so much for that question. And I think for that, I'll just try to put up this slide back here. So yeah, the green entrepreneurship is a bit of a tricky space, especially since, we ended up taking the thing that nobody wants to take on, which is the post-consumer wrapper waste, the ones that the used wrappers. So it was quite challenging to, find a solution for them and exclusively work with them. Our initial challenge was establishing a supply chain, which we've gotten through. Another big challenge that we're experiencing right now is obviously getting the funds to start a production unit and doing it in a very ethical manner. So yes, we work with the children, but that's just for them. And even when we work with adults, it's very tempting in developing countries, and there's this expectation and this image that, they're cheap to work with. They're not really cheap. The labor is not cheap. It's just that we are very exploitative here. So being very, very ethical and making sure that, you are being sustainable as well as profitable, as well as, ethical, that's a bit of a challenge. And that's something we are integrating in our business model, but that's something that's taken us a while. It would have been far easier to, like forget your values and just go into the business space. But I think, this is, the work is incredibly rewarding, and I think there is potential. We just have to spend more time, need some more support to like have a very ethical and, sustainable business model in place, as well as, get investors who invest in that soon. So.
Sure, great. Thank you so much, Emma, for sharing your inspiring story. Your passion for change is truly contagious, I must say, and I'm sure everyone here is eager to learn more and engage with your ideas. So please don't hesitate to ask questions to Emma, as I would like to open the floor for our Q&A session, and we expect to get a few questions from you all. If you have a question, please do write in the chat box, and if you want to ask yourself, then please raise your hand and unmute yourself. While we wait for questions to come in, I encourage everyone to take advantage of this opportunity to tap into Emma's expertise and insights. Whether you're curious about the upcycling process, challenges, please feel free to ask question. We have first question from G. Do you think recycling will be one of the important solutions for sustainable development?
I think it's a solution that we can't ignore, but I personally think that our focus should really be more on reducing plastic waste altogether. And I think that's a reason why, our products, these are, we've deliberately kept them such that they're not supposed to be a solution for the wrapper waste problem. They're supposed to inspire people to make a change. And more importantly, they're supposed to tap into the fashion industry and tell them that, let's start thinking about sustainable materials rather than, make plastic waste. So recycling right now is important, but I think we need strategies that just reduce our dependency on plastics altogether, single-use plastics altogether.
Great, thank you, Emma. We have hand raised from Joshua. Joshua, can you please unmute yourself? If
Joshua, you
not,
can unmute. Or you can type in the chat if that's difficult.
sure, till we wait for Joshua, let's go to another question then. It's for Adil.
Hello.
How have Emma managed to get customers and more importantly, convince them to use her products?
Oh, so that is a very interesting question. My problem so far has not been getting customers as much as it has been production. Like I have an insanely long priority list for this purse. I've exhibited at 2 events and everybody's dying to have this. And the key to it is that, we really focus on design. I don't think most people, if they just see this, they cannot imagine that this was made with, this kind of a cookie wrapper. And that's been the first and foremost consideration when we think about making products for sale. On top of that, because, our cause is so resonant with people, and like I said, our products are not meant for everyone. These are luxury products. So we tap into those markets where there is a value for those products, where people are willing to, pay more for these kind of things. And ultimately, our market is also not intended to be Pakistan per se, because there's a limited scope for premium products here. But in other spaces, like, Western Europe or the United States or some East Asian countries, that's what we're working for. So my problem has not been customers at the moment. It has been meeting demand because the list is very long and not been able to make these yet. So I hope that that answers your question.
Sure. Now, Joshua, can you?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear
Can
you.
I be heard? Okay, thank you. So I am Joshua from the Philippines. So my question is, I think it was mentioned by one of the speakers that it is crucial that we encourage youth to engage in green jobs or agriculture-related careers. However, in countries like the Philippines, careers related to agriculture, environment, and such are given less importance. And according to the data, farmers, fish folks, and the like are one of the most or the poorest. Therefore, how can we empower or encourage youth to choose these career paths given this situation in the status quo? Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your question, Joshua. Your volume is a bit low, but I'll just repeat the question to make sure that I got it right. I think you were basically saying that it's not really encouraged for youths to get into environmental related careers because and especially careers where they are working on businesses to support farmers and fisheries. So how can we change the status quo regarding that? Am I correct in understanding your question? Okay, I'm going to continue with what I've assumed. Yes, okay, thank you, Joshua. Yeah, so first of all, I think the tide is slightly changing. It's not ideal. It's not at that ideal position yet. But if I look at the focus that is on sustainability and climate, and it's almost like a buzzword. So it sometimes really annoys me that you just put the word sustainability on your business, even though it's not, and you greenwash your way out of it. But there are more funds that are getting available for this sort of thing. And I think at the end of the day, especially in today's economy, anything that gets you money is something that, parents are like, okay, go ahead and do that, Like I'm from Pakistan right now, I know so many people who are engineers and who have just completely left their field for something else because there was no, money in that. So the key to it really is like having certain policies at the government level that can support these kind of initiatives, different funding initiatives that can, encourage entrepreneurship in this space. I personally, if I compare the landscape from the last 10 years or 20 years, I think it is slowly changing. People are encouraging people to get towards entrepreneurship. Now, the way they do it, that's frustrating because a lot of times I look at businesses and I'm like, oh my God, that's greenwashing happening here. And even, so it's, I think it's changing, but the key to it is really having policies, having an infrastructure at the government level or in organizations like YCAP, who are backed by people who want to do that, and really supporting young people in that space. And for young people, I think just be committed. I did not know I would end up starting a business just when I was teaching my workshops. When you start doing something good, hopefully, good can come out of it. I hope this answers your question to some extent.
That was helpful. With the interest of time, I think we'll let Emma answer the rest of the question in the chat box. And please do follow Emma on Instagram as well if you have more burning questions. So thank you so much, Emma, for sharing your expertise and insights today with us on green entrepreneurship. And I will pass it back to Sissy. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dipesh. And thank you very much, Emma, for your powerful message. I think, as you mentioned, alongside youth, it's equally important to teach children on how to live a sustainable life. And again, change really happens at all levels. Up next, let me invite my lovely colleague, Miss Suvimali Surawira, Youth Empowerment Portfolio Management and Research Coordinator, UNDP Bangkok Regional Hub, to interview Ms. Tawida Sharopa, CEO and founder of Mona Bondu, to share her inspiring work on mental health, well-being and eco-anxiety in Bangladesh. The floor is now yours, Suvi.
Thank you so much, Sissy. Hello, everyone. I'm hoping that you're having an engaging session and enjoying this regional dialogue. Welcome to this segment on eco-anxiety and well-being. So, have you ever been anxious because of climate change and environmental issues? Well, I have. It's unbelievably so hot these days, so it makes me think of what the future has in store for us. And I feel guilty of wanting to have the AC on or a fan on to help me cope with this. So, stressful. And when I'm stressful, there's one thing that I do, and that is to go for a walk in a park. Since we can't do it now, and since I want to share this experience with you, I invite you to join me for a virtual tour to a forest before we go into an interesting dialogue with Shiropa. So just imagine that you're taking this journey with me into a forest. So let's take a few moments to observe the forest that you're going to go into and taking this scenery so green and so serene. So see the sunshine on the leaves, see the gently flowing stream, sit comfortably, and I request you to close your eyes and imagine that you're in this forest. So shall we connect with all of your senses? What do you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel in this forest? So hear the sound of water gently flowing down the stream. Hear the birds chirping in the trees from near and from far. Feel the gentle breeze against your body. Hear the sounds of tree leaves and the sound of the stream. You can imagine how you feel when your feet is on the ground and with the water flowing in between. So take a deep breath and imagine the smell of fresh air, energizing your body. Allow the tranquility of the forest to wash over you. Gently open your eyes. How do you feel now? You can let us know using one word in the chat. Do you feel peace or like calm? Okay, people are feeling peace and calm and refreshing. So this is what the Japanese call as Shinrin Yuko or forest bathing. And hope you had a relaxing time, though it was very short. So from a place of calm, feeling free and serene and relaxed, let's dive into the topic on eco-anxiety and well-being. I'm honored to have Ms. Tawhida Shiropa from Bangladesh. She is the CEO and founder of Mona Bandhu. Let's start getting to know Shiropa. Can you briefly introduce you to us?
Thank you, Subi, and thank you to all the audience participants. I'm very happy to be here today. And my name is Tawhida Shiropa. I'm the founder and CEO of Mona Bandhu. It's a leading mental health care startup in Bangladesh. And we are providing the counseling services and the mindfulness practices like you have done and the training and developing content using our advanced technology and human-centric approach. And so far, we have provided services through our app, website, and in-person center, like more than 5 million people across Bangladesh and other different countries. And one of our exciting area we're working at this moment, like the definitely anxiety, stress, and along with the climate actions programs in coastal area and other natural disaster prone areas as well.
Great to hear. So last week, there was the YOUNGO Climate Action Week happening, and I was listening to the young speakers sharing about the concerns that they have, and some of them struck out to me. So there was young people saying that they have to live with and manage the impacts of changing climate, referring to the temperature rise, the sea level rises, changing weather patterns, and they might not have contributed into causing these effects. And there was saying that there is less chance of having a seat in the decision-making tables, and also some of them were afraid of bringing in new life, having children in this world. So just, I want to ask all of you and Shiropa, what does eco-anxiety mean to you? And what concerns do you have? So our participants can share in the chat, and I'll ask Shiropa what eco-anxiety means to you.
And of course, thank you, Subi. It's a very, I think, timely questions, because now and then we are, I think, facing these questions from our clients, customer as well, and the community we're working, because we are very much, I think, associated, I think, years after years with anxiety. When it comes with this word specific, the eco-anxiety, because of this chronic fear and of the environmental changes, and people, to some point, people are thinking like maybe they will face something for, at this moment, or for their future children, or for the future of the world. So sometimes is very much connected with the overthinking process, and that's really give people the more anxiety. And it's something, there is people, they think like it's just a feeling. It's not just a feeling, it's a serious mental health problem. So, and this is the high time we address these things. I think people are also, I think, writing in the chat board.
So we can see some of the participants sharing that Noel says it means not having any hope that the climate situation would get better. And so there's like different thoughts that we have. And it could mean different things and we might feel it differently. I invite all of you to take part in the discussion through the chat. So what eco-anxiety means to you and what are the concerns that you have. So let me ask from you, Shiropa, what inspired you to address eco-anxiety? And do you have any stories that you'd like to share with us? Maybe from your childhood, maybe from recently. What inspired you to work on eco-anxiety?
So basically, even in there's I think the last couple of days we are facing and suffering from heat waves in Bangladesh, in Dhaka. And since I'm coming from the northern part of the Bangladesh, and those area people are mostly depending on the harvesting farming. So, and in my child, especially in my school days, I have experienced, now I can connect with those things. Like we are like every now and then, in every year, our school was closed for like the 3 months because of the natural disaster and the flood and sudden flood. We didn't have the time to take preparation. How could you deal with that, the situations? And it's definitely impacted our mind. It definitely impacted that time in our education as well, because we have to cover all the programs and school academic, education system within the time. And apart from that, when I grown up and come to Dhaka and the joined this Bondhu and all these things were happening. And that time when we started working in the ready-made garments factory area, those are mostly people who are faced many the natural disaster, environmental disaster. They faced and different kind of issue. That's, I think, triggered them for the internal migrations. And people, they have the internal migrations. We see like we have experienced when we work with them, those people, especially the women, they have the fear of loss, fear of insecurity. I think that they have the insecurity. They didn't identify because, and we identified them like they have the post-traumatic stress disorder, which is called the PTSD. And apart from that, they're like always, they're like the overthinking process always provoke them to to take some time the negative unhealthy practices. So that's the issue. That's when we're working on those area, that's really triggered me personally to work for those people. And another story I really wanted to share with all the participants, like we started working with the coastal prone areas. And one of our partner organizations from they're working in since many years in the mangrove forest in the Sundarban area. So they called me suddenly, like they're working with the fisher women on those area. And they said like they have some issues, so we couldn't identify, do you have any support system so you can provide some sessions to them? Even this difficult is like they didn't understand the mental health and others issue. They have issue. So how could we deal with them? So team with the Honorable, the counselor therapist, there we went there and we have the in-person session first time. And I have seen they're the most resilient people I have met in my life. Definitely, I must say. But apart from that, they have huge issue because every now and then they face like the cyclone, the flood, the issues, and they have like the loss of fear, loss of I think a natural even the assets. So that's like provoke them to didn't get themselves, they didn't have the I think proper resources so they can identify what they need at this time. So initially we just thinking like, okay, fine, just work on your self-care, then eventually working on the anxiety. And that time first time Bondhu identified, okay, fine, this anxiety is very much connected with the environment, with the climate changes. So that's first time we started working those people with the eco-anxiety, how to reduce the eco-anxiety as well. And that's really inspiring. And those people are feeling well at this moment and their well-being and that's improved after getting our services. I think that's the accomplishment.
Indeed, I can see with your smile also how proud of you are with the work that you do. As a follow-up question, I mean, you already shared with us about some examples of the work of Mona Bandhu related to eco-anxiety with people from the coastal areas and also in the Dhaka. So in working with these groups, do you see a difference, or how do you cater your programs and help these people who are facing this? I would like to hear more about your work and support you provide.
No, thank you, Subi. So basically, I think those people are working in Dhaka, they're most urban people. And those people have lack of, I think, resources and lack of access sometimes. And they are, I think, better resilience people than urban people. And I think we have experience so far. And because of the Dhaka people and the urban people, they have like some awareness. Sometimes they listen, but and then I really wanted to, I think, bring those things like sometimes they listen or they consume the misinformation as well. So maybe that's just a myth. So that's not the fact. So that sometimes give them more anxiety, and because they're thinking like maybe this will happen, those will happen, maybe the heat wave is these things that keep going. How could we live? How could the animal live? The main, I think, information, whether we overwhelmed with too much information and sometimes with the misinformation and the myth, that's really, I think, cause more anxiety. And, to some point, of course, if you're facing the anxiety, I think more than 6 months, you have to check with the professionals. So that's, we always say. So, and even the people who are live in the coastal area or climate people who are the climate refugees or climate victims. So we said like, okay, fine. So these are the things you can do within your community, the basics well-being techniques. We always try to learn them and teach them so they can practice within their community, like the mindfulness practice as you did today. And at the same time, some breathing exercise. And to some point, we give them the material so they can at least read, so they practice. And these are the area. And of course, if you have like huge PTSD or fear, so you have to take the professional services.
Thank you so much for sharing the well-being practices also. So following up on your point, one is misinformation that gives anxiety. So I have a few questions to the audience as well as for you to understand what are the myths versus fact. So I'll ask these questions and I'll request audience to answer in the chat. So eco-anxiety is a real mental health disorder. Is it a myth or a fact? Over to you, Shiropa. And let's keep it quick given the time, but we're really looking forward to understanding.
Yeah, so they, I think, as they mentioned in the chat about the participant, I going with them, like, of course, eco-anxiety is a real mental health issue. And, but there is more remedy. You can reduce that, deal with that. So it's a fact.
Okay. Eco-anxiety only affects environmentalists. Is it a myth or a fact?
Of course, it's a myth because, of course, it's a myth because it's not, because, and that everyone who are suffering, who are facing, or who experiences things is we're living in this, I think, world, in the planet. So people who are living in this planet, including us, of course, we have some anxiety, but it is not only connected with the environmentalists or the climate activists or like the mental health activists. Is anyone can experience these things who doesn't know how to deal with that. So.
And eco-anxiety is exclusively about the fear of climate change. Is it a myth or a fact?
So what do you think?
Oh, I think it's a broader spectrum. There's a lot to it than climate change. So what do you think?
Then of course it's like the it's a little bit myth, but it's a broader thing. Of course, it's a myth, but there is many point you can work on that. But it's very close to the fact, but it's a myth. So there's a fine line. So you have to think like, yeah. So if these things like keep going, I think a long time. So it's very connected with the facts, but it's still a myth.
Okay, the last one for you. Eco-anxiety leads to paralysis, helplessness, and inaction. Is this a myth or a fact?
It's obviously a myth. It's obviously a myth because, of course, when people suffering from anxiety or people have anxiousness in big issue or small issues, when people suffering with many anxiousness in their life, every now and then we can, face the anxiousness in our life. So if you couldn't deal with that, if you don't know how to deal with this anxiousness, this might give you the helplessness, feelings of helplessness, or feelings of like you are not anywhere, or the overthinking process will increase. So definitely it's very connected with the anxiety. And it's the same things are applicable for the eco-anxiety as well. Of course, sometimes when you feel anxiousness, your body, I think, responds differently. But it's not cause of the paralyzed or like the others physical issues. But you
Can
have
it lead to anything positive?
Huh?
Can
Sorry?
it lead to anything positive effects coming from?
Of course, I think of course it's a connected positive because that's turns you are bring those positive actions people are taking right now, right? That is we or like not in Monobandhu, the others, the mental health activists and other the environmentalists and the youth activists, people who are here. So all we are taking these positive actions to reduce those issues, right? So that leads like those things leads to the taking the positive action to mitigate those issues. So that's the positive side and bright side of this issue.
Thank you so much, Shiroka. Learned a lot from you within this short period of time. Let me pass on to Sissy. I hope everyone can continue these conversations even after the regional dialogue. Over to you, Sissy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suvi, and thank you so much, Shiropa. And thanks once again to all of our speakers this afternoon. We really had a lot of new learnings, stories, and interesting insights to add and expand our perspectives on how to scale youth-led solutions. Finally, we will move to the closing remarks of our regional dialogue. First up, I would like to invite Miss Dicia Sarmento Bello, Assistant Coordinator, National Directorate for Climate Change and founder, Laudato Si Movement Timor-Leste, to share her closing remarks. Dicia, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sissy. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. So, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in Asia Pacific. Happy Earth Day. Well, first of all, thank you very much for you all for saying yes in the first place to join this regional dialogue. It's been a long day for you, I know, but I hope that you have learned many new things from the speakers about climate action and are ready to bring them on into your work. As we may know that most countries in the Asia-Pacific region face similar challenges when it comes to the climate action, whether with the governments or communities. In my country, what I've noticed that many people don't see climate change as the main cause of big problems like damage to nature, society, or the economy. Instead, they think natural disasters are to blame. This is one of many reasons why I'm so passionate about my work. As introduced by the Sisi, I'm the founder of Laudato Si Movement Timor-Leste. It's a Catholic youth organization dedicated to implementing the message of Laudato Si from Pope Francis, which emphasizes the value of caring for our common home, which is the earth. And over the past 3 years, this movement has experienced rapid growth. It began with just one person, which is myself. but now we have over 100 official members and 400 animators. Throughout my journey, I've learned that to mobilize and influence other people to support the same cause, we need to understand their realities and tailor the content we share to fit their beliefs. People need to relate to and believe in what we are advocating for the real change to happen. So for those of you who are new to climate action or maybe wondering where to begin, here is some good news for you. Climate change is relevant in every area. Whatever you're doing right now is connected to climate change in some way. So the good news is keep pursuing whatever interests you and continue doing what you're passionate about. However, take the time to identify within your work of area or study where you can contribute most to transformative changes. For example, if you're a medical student or doctor, you can use your expertise and influence to advocate for reducing air pollution. Or if you're an engineer, you can ensure that your design or your infrastructure is climate-proof and resilient. Or even if you're a photographer, you can capture the beauty of nature and inspire people not to take it for granted. I could talk to you all day and tell what each of you can do as individuals or as a collective, but I won't do that right now. So in short, whatever you're doing right now, whatever position you're in, you have the power to make a change. You just have to keep informing yourself and educating yourself. You have a great and dedicated team behind you. YOUNGO here has been working with many different stakeholders to support youths like yourselves. And many young people have been connected to YOUNGO and engaged in its activities. And they see YOUNGO as a platform or community to grow as a change makers. So you don't have to do it alone. This platform isn't designed for themselves, but for you guys. So take advantage of every opportunities and explore how climate change relates to your area and identify work opportunities where you can actually leverage these. Once you recognize the connection and realize the power you possess, then pick up that power to make a difference. It only takes one person to restore hope, and it starts with you. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Cici. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Cici, for your closing remarks. And what a powerful way to end those remarks. It only takes one person to restore hope, and it starts with you. And I really hope that this is a key message that resonates with all of the young people across Asia Pacific who are on our call today. Up next, I would like to invite Mr. Matthew Shearer, Senior Justice and Youth Engagement Advisor, East Asia, British Council, to share his closing remarks. Matthew, over to you.
Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for that introduction, Cici. It's a real privilege to join you today. I've just been listening for the last hour to some of the discussion. It's absolutely fascinating and fills me with real hope as well. Now, I have an interesting and unusual role here at the British Council, leading on our work in access to justice and youth engagement in the Asia Pacific region. And in my work, I see these days that very much the focus for many young people in the region is environmental and ecological justice. So it brings those two strands of my job together. Both the justice and the youth engagement angle come together in environmental and ecological justice. And I've heard loud and clear during this discussion and debate about, some of the pressing matters which many of the young people getting involved in this work feel today. Anxiety, eco-anxiety, some of the challenges around the perception of green jobs and jobs in agriculture. Now, These challenges, of course, on top of the very real material changes that are happening and threatening ecosystems around the Asia Pacific, land degradation, aquifer depletion, logging, new roads opening up pristine forests, the damage to soil and water sources, mega dams, etc., all contributing to or exacerbated by climate change. And then you have to face some of those challenges that are coming around misinformation and disinformation online. So, together with those personal challenges and the challenges to the planet that are animating you in the first place, it's very easy to feel daunted and bewildered and alone. But as we've just heard from that previous speaker, it's important that you don't feel that. It's important that that motivation, which has got you started in this area, continues. Now, YOUCAP's overall aim of transformative solutions, it's all the more vital than ever, because the need for transformation is greater than ever. The need for empowerment is greater than ever. And bringing environmental justice and empowerment together, once again, it's not just individual empowerment for a change at some unspecified time in the future. Empowerment also draws our attention to those systems of power that exclude young people's voices. And really, what I hope is, as your experience grows and as you connect with other young people around the region with similar experiences, your strategies, your experience, your understanding begins to chip away at business as usual and changes things in a way that you want to see, that really puts into place that vision that you have for a thriving, flourishing, ecologically viable future for the region. And I really hope that as the years progress and your work is felt around the region, that we can all feel much more promise for the future of the region. Thank you very much, and good luck with your debate and with your futures. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew, for your closing remarks. And as you mentioned, the need for transformation and empowerment is greater than ever, and young climate advocates in the Asia Pacific are really at the forefront of the global youth movement for a just, sustainable transformation that can secure a healthy future for our planet. Up next, I would like to invite Ms. Aneta Nikolova, Environmental Affairs Officer at UNESCAP, to share her closing remarks. Aneta, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ceci, and I'm very happy to be here. Just to mention, the previous speakers have done so much on engagement and believing in yourself and the youth ahead. I would like to stress out something else. Do not forget that you're all connected together. We are all partners. And also do not forget us, the older people, right? We are there to help you. As you see, this events of the YOUCAP Climate Dialogue has happened with a lot of building up on the partnerships that we've been developing for the last couple of years in our so-called IBC, Issues-Based Coalition of the UN agencies, that has done a lot of things to promote SDG implementation, to promote SDG 13 implementation, but also to promote your engagement, not only as activists on the street and in activities that you do in the field, but also at the table where policies are made, where policy making is happening. That is very important. We've been all advocating that in the new period now, when we're embarking on the 2025 NDC development, the updates for the next 10 years and more, like until 2035, that we see greater and more meaningful engagement of youth. Youth has the potential to collect data to help the governments with the GHG emissions. Youth has the potential to go and to work on implementing NDC activities and pledges with the local communities, doing practical things. Youth is innovative, creative, using AI in all the digital technologies. You guys are the future. So we need to make the space for you. And that's what we are advocating very, very strongly. And we are trying to work with the regional governments. You know, ESCAP, many of you may not know what ESCAP is, but that's the Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific. It's like the UN headquarters. Deliberations are happening here for our Asia Pacific region. 53 member states are engaged in that. At the moment, there is the 80th Commission session going on that is discussing digitalization and active youth engagement in it. So what I could also tell you in the framework of the ESCAP Commission session, we are doing day 2 of the regional dialogue tomorrow with UNDP partners, UN Women, UNFCCC. We're doing a side event on youth-led digital innovation for sustainable development and climate action in Asia and Pacific. And you're going to hear from an array of very fantastic speakers. Many of them are young ladies, and they are leaders in different digital applications and innovations. And we're trying to promote that potential to the governments that are attending the 80th Commission session of ESCAP. So we are trying also to bridge the gender and digital divides. And we look forward to welcoming you all to that session tomorrow, which will be in a hybrid mode. So those of you that are around and you could attend physically are most welcome. And those of you that can join through the online platform are also most welcome. And well, this is from my side.
Great. Thank you so much, Aneta, for your closing remarks. And what a powerful message to let us, and what a helpful reminder to let us know that we are all partners in this journey together, and engaging young people to develop and design the transition to net zero economies that ensures climate resilience and the importance of sustainable futures for everyone in the region. And thank you again for sharing more details about the session tomorrow, and hope everyone will be able to join us for day 2 as well. Lastly, I would like to invite Ms. Akiko Yamamoto, Regional Team Leader, Environment and Energy Team, UNDP Bangkok Regional Hub, to share her closing remarks. Akiko, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sisi. Thank you very much. And esteemed guests and everybody joining us online, it's my great pleasure to deliver the closing remarks at this YECAP Regional Dialogue 2024 on behalf of UNDP. First of all, allow me to celebrate that we managed to organize this regional dialogue this year on youth empowerment on the Earth Day, 22nd April, which is advocating for the power of collective action. It's just so appropriate that we held the inspiring and lively conversation on climate action on this Earth Day. You're part of the 400 million youth in this region, which is 60% of the global youth population, and you're in the region that's most critical to take accelerated climate actions to save the planet from the climate crisis. As we draw the YECAP Regional Dialogue to close, I'm filled with gratitude for the incredible energy, passion, and commitment of all participants, as usual, of all the events that's organized by YECAP. Throughout our regional dialogue today, we enjoyed learning about how young climate advocates continue engaging in impactful initiatives to empower others. Mona Bandhu, with support from UNDP, addressed climate-induced mental health issues in Bangladesh coastal regions. Through workshops and counseling, they empowered over 50 individuals, fostering resilience and well-being among climate crisis. We witnessed that this day served as a platform for young climate champions to showcase their experience and best practices. We will continue to support them in the coming years so that we have access to they have access to safe and inclusive spaces and work actively to expand those spaces. And we also observed that the partnership among youth, government representatives, multilateral agencies, NGOs, and intergovernmental organizations are nurtured further, paving the way for more inclusive decision-making processes for climate policy and climate action. According to the UNESCAP's SDG Progress Report and UNDP's newly launched Regional Human Development Report, the region is not on track to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals due to alarming regressions in climate change-related goals and targets. We are behind the schedule by 32 years. UNDP prioritizes young people's needs by tackling structural exclusion and amplifying their voices through equal opportunities. We promote intergenerational solidarity alongside critical future-oriented thinking and peer-to-peer consultations that include youth in policymaking. Also, as part of UNDP commitment to climate change and climate action, we will launch Climate Promise 2025 next week, together with government representatives and UN partners to make the NDC 3.0 more ambitious and more inclusive. We need high-level commitments to design, implement, and finance capacity building of young people. Meantime, we need everybody's commitment to accelerate all climate actions. Acceleration and actions at scale are what's required most urgently now. And we believe UNDP's commitment to inclusive approach through YOUNGO and beyond will help us achieve that collectively. I would like to conclude my remarks with the word of Sam Tamayo, UN Women's 30 for 2030 network member and the founder of Project Smile in the Philippines, the speaker at the 11th Asia Pacific Forum for Sustainable Development side event on engaging youth in a green and just economy transition at scale. Sam says, and I quote, "We need the creation of safe spaces, the right tools and resources, and an intersectional lens to meaningfully engage young people, including those from vulnerable groups, as we shift towards a greener economy." I hope today's regional dialogue is one step towards that ambition for all of us. We have seen the strength and potential of youth-led climate action, and I'm confident that the connection made and lessons learned and experiences shared here will continue to drive positive change in our region and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Akiko, for your closing remarks. As you mentioned that quote about the need to create safe spaces, the right tools and resources, and having that intersectional lens to meaningfully engage young people. We hope that YOUNGO has been that platform for you and that today's regional dialogue has been that safe space for everyone to be able to commit to more climate actions in your communities and beyond. Now, throughout the day, you have heard speakers from different countries, organizations, networks, and sectors representing various underrepresented communities to share and celebrate in youth climate advocacy and action in Asia Pacific. On behalf of all of the partners, we would like to sincerely thank all of our esteemed speakers, guests, partners, and of course, all of you, our stellar participants, for sharing your time, attention, and insights with everyone. We would also like to give a big thank you to the organising committee and the YOUNGO fellows who have dedicated their time, efforts, and love for the success of this dialogue. Now, before we wrap up our time together, we would like to commemorate through another group photo. So we are requesting everyone to open your cameras for about 10 seconds again while we take our photo. So while you're all sort of opening your cameras, make sure to strike a pose and please hold that pose as our photographers take screenshots and have a virtual capture of our moment here today. So please smile, hold your poses in 1, 2, 3. Please smile and keep smiling as our photographers are taking screenshots. I see beautiful smiles on my screen. Just give us a few moments. Please hold and smile. I see so many pages. I've got people holding mini love hearts as well. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Our photo session is done. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. While we are closing the first day of our dialogue today, know that this is not the end of our climate journey together. As young climate advocates and leaders, we have several exciting events coming up for you to take action and make your voices heard. Please join day 2 of our dialogue tomorrow as part of the 80th session of the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, ESCAP. YECAP is hosting a side event on youth-led digital innovation for sustainable development and climate action in Asia and the Pacific from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. GMT+7 on the same Zoom link as right now. And of course, please do join our YECAP programs leading to COI19 and COP29. So please stay tuned. You can learn more about YECAP, including upcoming events and opportunities for youth via the QR code and link that is showing on your screen right now, or there are links being shared in the chat box. All registered participants will also receive details via email after this event. To get connected and stay updated, follow us on social media and subscribe to our monthly newsletter. We look forward to welcoming you to our future activities. We would also like to take this time to ask you to fill out the feedback form, which is also appearing on your screens now. You will receive a certificate of participation upon completion of the feedback form. And I believe that feedback form is also being shared in the chat box below. In closing, we would like to wish everyone the best in your journeys as young climate advocates and leaders. We hope that our event has helped you expand your perspectives, gain new connections, and strengthen your will and motivation to be responsible stewards for our planet and fight for climate action. And that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for the Climate Action Spotlight, Youth Power in Motion, Regional Dialogue on Youth Empowerment in Climate Action. Once again, this has been your host, Cici Shen, saying goodbye. And on behalf of the convening partners, we hoped you enjoyed your time with us. And until we meet again, thank you so much.